So one of the things that's going to be really helpful as you work through the brain-based Enneagram is to know how exactly do you fill out your whole identity profile. Remember, we're trying to actually score all the numbers, all the wings, all the triads, and understand what it is that you're looking at when you look at your whole profile. So what I want you to be able to do is make sure, if you haven't already, go to the website and get the template for filling out your whole identity profile. Go ahead and print that out or get it onto a tablet that you can fill out digitally and walk through what I'm about to do with you, okay? So the first thing that I want you to do is make sure that you've already taken the Ready. So you have all of your scores on the Enneagram Institute where you got the Ready scores. And go ahead and populate in the top left corner where it says Ready Results. You're gonna have Nature, which is where you put type down. And then you're gonna have scores. Go ahead and fill out all of your type on the left, and then all of your scores for those types, just like you get on the first page of the Ready. Fill that out in the top left. Then what I want you to do is take each of those scores and find the actual type within each of the triads in the main diagram on the right side. Go ahead and, in whatever fashion you want to, just transcribe those scores of each of the types, or what we refer to as natures. Go ahead and put those into each of the interior spaces inside the circle. It's on the inside border. Now, once you do that, I want you to go ahead and take all three of the scores in each of the triads, head, heart, and gut. Add those three numbers together and put that total value into the box in the middle of the triad. That's going to be your weighted triad score. Now, the easy way to double check you've got your math right and you've transferred the scores over to each type or nature properly, and you've added them up in the triad properly, is those three boxes on the inside should equal 144. That's the total score for all of the questions that you answered when you took the Ready. So make sure that those three boxes in the middle equal 144. Now what I want you to do is go to the bottom left-hand corner of the whole identity profile map, and I want you to add the 8 and 9 scores inside the circle together. Take that combined score and put it into the circle on the outside of the entire diagram. That's going to be your combined wing score for 8 and 9. So now you've got the combined score for 8 and 9. That's in that circle on the outside of the entire Enneagram diagram. What I want you to do is go around the entire circle and keep combining two scores together. You're going to see a little arrow angle bracket that combines two of the scores, and it's going to connect to a circle outside. So every time you do it, make sure you're adding 9 and 1 together, 1 and 2, 2 and 3, so on and so forth until you get all the way back around, and you're combining 7 and 8 together. So you should have all of those circles on the outside combined. Easy way to check that you've got the math done right on that is because you're doubling the numbers up. It should total 288 combined. So you've got 144 times 2 for those outside wing relationships. Now what I want you to do is go ahead and take those numbers that are inside the circle on the outside. We're going to transcribe them to the bottom left-hand side where you've actually got your wing relationships. Easiest way to do that is your first wing relationship from top to bottom is going to be your 9 and 1 relationship, and it's going to finish with your 8 and 9 relationship. So start with 9 and 1, take the number that's inside the circle connected between 9 and 1 and transcribe that number into that very first circle in that wing relationship on the bottom left-hand side of the page. And then what you do is you work your way around counterclockwise, and the next circle should be your 9 and 1. Should be your 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 3 and 4, so on and so forth, and you go all the way around. So just make sure to double check, because sometimes it can get hard to move it from one circle to the other circle. Just double check that all of those relationships, the very first circle starts with the 9 and 1, the very last circle ends with the 8 and 9, okay? Now when you got all of your wing relationships filled out, you've got your Ready scores and results and natures filled out, you've got the triads scored and weighted, you've got all of the numbers filled out. The last thing that I want you to do is in that right-hand side, you're going to have information about your motivations or your priorities or your values. Underneath that are going to be your wing relationships and also your IVQ results. What I want you to do is look at, in your particular order, you're going to look at your Ready results, and that very first number for your highest score in terms of your nature or your efficiency, I want you to see what that particular number is seeking. So for instance, if your highest number is a 4, you're seeking authenticity. If your highest number is a 2, you're seeking appreciation. Whatever it is that that particular number is seeking, I want you to take that word and put it in order from top to bottom under priorities and values. So just look at your Ready scores and one by one, write the motivation of what that number is seeking in order from first to last according to what your Ready results are. So your lowest number, whatever your last nature or type is, whatever that lowest score is, Whatever that number is seeking should be the last word that you write in that particular area of the template. The next thing that I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and, if you want, this is a little bit harder, but you can do it if you want for each of the numbers. And don't forget, we've also listed the written instructions. So if it's hard to track a little bit with what I'm saying, you can also look at the written instructions and get that information included in the template download, okay? But what I want you to do is every single number that's filled out already, you can divide that number and get your particular weighted percentage. An easy way to remember this is any number that you divide inside the circle, you're going to divide by 144. The numbers outside the circle, you're going to divide by 288. So if you take a triad score, like whatever number you see in the box in the head triad right now, take that number and divide that by 144. You're going to get a number that I want you to take to 4 decimals. So if you divide it and you get something like 0.3875675 something, you're going to end up having 38.75%. So you're taking those first 4 decimals and you're turning that into your percentage. If you need, again, the reference, see the download to see how we did that, okay? So if you want, you can go ahead and do the percentages for your triads, the percentages for your types or natures, and also the percentages for your wing relationships, and you can put all of those there. A really easy way to fill out what your wing scores are in that little legend that's on the right-hand side is just find the highest number. Whatever inside those circles that you filled out on that bottom left-hand section, whatever the highest score is, sometimes it's 36, 37, we've even seen up to 42, 45, or 50. Whatever your top 5 highest wing relationships are, go ahead and fill those out in the section that says wing relationships. Write that down in there, okay? If you need a reference to remember what's the name of that wing relationship, you can look in the book and see the breakdowns of each of the types. And as you look at each of the type descriptions at the very bottom of those columns, it's going to give you the wing relationships and the names or natures for those wing relationships if you need those specific words in there as well. The last thing I want you to do is if you took your IVQ, which is your instinctual variant quotient, I want you to just write down in order directly from what the results are given to you by the Enneagram Institute. Just go ahead and write down your IVQ results as they were provided to you. And if you want to be able to get your scores for that as well, you can divide the total score of those numbers by the particular number of your IVQ. So if you got 53, for instance, divide 53 by the total number of all 3 of those numbers added together, and you're going to get your percentage for each individual instinct as well. That's a lot of information, but one of the things that we wanted to do with this video is give you a space where you can hit pause, fill out a part of this template, come back, and also see those written instructions. And as always, if you have any questions or it gets really confusing about how to fill that out, shoot us a message on social and we'll try and get back to you as quick as we can. I hope that helps, and we look forward to hearing more about what you've learned as you process and discover your whole identity.